Billionaire's mother disapproved of his bold curvy black love until an amazing truth was exposed. Ryan stepped into the grand ballroom, heart pounding wildly like a drumbeat urging him forward. The twinkling chandeliers overhead bathed the crowd in a golden glow, but his focus was singular Maya. She stood across the room, radiant and electric, weaving her way through the sea of snobby elites, her bold curves clad in a stunning dress that hugged every confident inch of her. Ryan's breath hitched. He could practically feel the warmth of her laughter igniting his spirit. His mother, Margaret, towered nearby, flawless and poised as always. A frown danced on her lips as her gaze swept over Maya. In that moment, Ryan felt a chill creep into the festive atmosphere, like an unexpected draft. The stakes were high. Tonight, he planned to propose. This was the night he'd fight for love, not just for himself, but for a future with Maya. The excitement turned to dread when the moment began to unravel. As the evening grew more glamorous, Ryan's heart surged with hope. But as he bent down on one knee, clasping a sparkling ring, the bright jubilation shattered when Margaret's voice pierced through the elegant laughter. "How could this be, Ryan?" she exclaimed, disapproval dripping from every word. "You can't honestly be considering her for our family?" Whispers erupted around them like wildfire, eyes narrowing in judgment. Ryan felt a wave of humiliation crash over him as he watched tears well in Maya's eyes, shimmering like the sequins on her dress. A tight knot formed in his chest. The confrontation between love and loyalty was laid bare, and he felt utterly powerless. "Mom, please," he pleaded, desperate and torn. But her glare was impenetrable and resolute. In that horrifying instant, Maya, a vibrant burst of creativity and soul, turned to leave, shattered and hurt. The cheers and the accolades faded into a dull roar, drowned entirely by the plume of silence left in their wake. Days went by, and the whispers continued. The community buzzed with scandal. Every time Ryan stepped outside his grand mansion, the weight of his mother's expectations pressed down like a lead cloak. But inside, his heart was screaming for Maya. Then news broke suddenly. Maya's family history, rich with ties to celebrated civil rights activism, emerged in bold headlines. With it came the truth of her resilience and strength. Ryan was captivated. No longer could he see Maya through the narrow lens of his mother's prejudice. Adjusting the way he thought about their love ignited a flicker of hope. He could almost feel his heart flare, pushing against the bounds of familial loyalty. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Now faced with the choice of love or legacy, Ryan stood at a crossroads. Images of Maya's laughter clashed violently with his mother's icy dismissal. As the night of reckoning loomed closer, fear gripped him. Would he have the courage to fight for the love that ignited his spirit, or would he falter under family pressure designed to stifle anything that strayed from their pristine expectations? The clock was ticking, and Ryan could feel the weight of unmade decisions pressing in. As he prepared to confront his mother, a single question loomed in his mind. Could love conquer all, or would the icy cold wall of family expectation snuff out the fiery spirit of a love that felt destined? Ryan paced the opulent hallway of his mansion, each step reverberating with a mix of determination and anxiety. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows that echoed the turmoil inside him. He had spent days reflecting on what had transpired at the ballroom. The laughter, the cheers, the thrill of love, it had all spiraled into chaos in mere moments. Suddenly, his phone buzzed, breaking the silence. It was a text from Maya, her sweet name lighting up the screen like a burst of sunlight on a dreary day. His fingers trembled as he opened it. "I need space, Ryan. Please understand." Each word struck hard, deepening the ache in his heart. He fought back tears, his mind racing with memories of her laughter and warmth. How could he let this slip away? "I need to talk to you, Mom." The words were heavy on his tongue as he approached the grand room where Margaret waited, exuding elegance in her tailored suit. She was a woman of conviction and influence, yet right now, she felt like an impenetrable fortress. "Ryan, we have nothing to discuss," she replied tersely without looking up from her papers. The air crackled with tension, thick as smoke. "Everything has changed." His voice was steadier than he felt. "Maya is incredible, and you can't dismiss her because of your old prejudices." The words spilled out like a flood, fueled by urgency and desperation. Margaret finally met his gaze, her expression a mask of disbelief and disdain. "You don't understand, dear. This isn't just about Maya. It's about our family, our legacy, and how she doesn't fit into it. But her family is one of strength and resilience. You raised me better than this. You taught me to fight for what's right." Ryan felt the fire in his belly flare. How could he show her what he had learned without seeming disloyal? "Ryan," she sighed, her voice heavy, "you're a billionaire. How do you think this society will perceive you? With her, you'll always be under scrutiny." A chill ran through him. That same society had built barriers and standards, but what of love? What did it matter if it wasn't real? "You think I care what they think? You think being with Maya makes me less of a man?" His mother's eyes narrowed, but Ryan pushed on, emboldened. That night, she shone brighter than any of them. "You have to understand, she's more than what you see. You only see her skin, not her soul." Margaret's facade cracked, just for a moment. "You're throwing everything away. This isn't just a fling, Ryan. You're talking about marrying her." "Yes," he shouted, the truth settling deeply within him. "If you can't accept her, then you need to rethink everything you've taught me about love and compassion. Because I love her." Silence hung in the air, thick and suffocating. Ryan's heart raced, each beat echoing with unresolved feelings. Was he prepared for the fallout? Could he really take this leap, knowing it could tear apart the foundation of the life he had known? Margaret's expression softened for just a second, and he saw a flicker of uncertainty. Maybe she was beginning to understand, but just as quickly, her walls clamped back down. "You have no idea what you're doing," she said quietly, yet with the full weight of her authority. "Maybe not," he replied, voice trembling now. "But I know that I can't live without her." As he turned to leave, the door swung open, and there stood Maya, framed in the doorway. The sight of her stopped him cold. Her eyes were fierce yet soft, filled with a blend of hurt and lingering hope. The moment hung in the air between them, electric and poignant. "Ryan," she whispered, and he saw it, the unspoken question reflected in her gaze. Could they both defy the odds, or would fear pull them apart? The heart-stopping possibility loomed. Was this the moment where they would either embrace each other fully or let go forever? Ryan's heart raced, eyes locked onto Maya's. Time stood still. All the words he hadn't found rushed to the forefront of his mind, eager to spill out. But all he could say was her name, a fragile reminder of everything that had led them to this moment. "Maya." His breath caught, and he stepped closer. The distance between them felt infinite yet achingly small at the same time. "I heard everything." Her voice wavered, but there was no hiding the strength behind her words. "I came here to talk, but I didn't expect any of this." "Neither did I," Ryan admitted, urgency wrapping around his chest. "I just want you to know that I'm not backing down. I love you, and I can't let my family's expectations tear us apart." Maya's gaze shifted to the floor, her expression a mixture of fear and yearning. "But how do we face your mom like this? What if? He interrupted, a fierce determination lighting a spark in his blue eyes. "What if we show her? We can't let fear drive us. We have something real. We have each other." Her eyes met his again, and a flicker of hope sparked between them. He took her hands, cradling them as if they were made of glass. The warmth of her skin sent comfort racing through him. This was real. "We can fight together," he murmured, pulling her closer. In that moment, the world outside faded. The mansion, the glamour, the weight of his family's legacy, none of it mattered as long as he had her. He could sense the walls Margaret had built, the expectations looming like clouds, but they felt less imposing when he stood beside Maya. "You think she'll ever accept me?" Maya whispered, eyes glistening with unshared tears. Ryan hesitated. "I don't know. But I believe she could if she sees how much you mean to me. Love changes everything." Suddenly, he felt an unusual weight shift around them. It was as if the ghost of doubt had lifted, replaced by a shared resolve. Each heartbeat synced with his thoughts. He could fight for them. Even if it tore at the seams of his upbringing, he would piece his life back together with her. Maya took a deep breath, a flicker of determination igniting in her eyes. "If you're willing to risk it all, then I am too. But we need a plan." "Right." Ryan welcomed the shift. He could already see the gears turning, the determination spilling from her. "What if we invite her to dinner? A chance for you both to talk. Her to finally see just how incredible you are." Maya's brow furrowed slightly. "Dinner? With your mom?" "Yes. If we want to change her mind, confronting her is the first step. No dodging or hiding." Confidence surged through him as he spoke. He could already see a path, a possible way forward. "We'll show her what love really looks like." Maya smiled, but there was still uncertainty in her eyes. "What if she still disapproves? Then we'll be ready. We'll show her that love isn't something she can control." Ryan squeezed her hands tighter. "We'll fight together." They stood in silence for a moment, the world closing in on them. Each heartbeat brought a wave of hope, yet a lingering fear remained. What if Margaret couldn't be swayed? "Maya," he said softly, hesitation creeping in. "If this goes wrong, if she can't accept us, I'll still be here," she interrupted, voice steady and strong. "No matter what happens." His heart swelled. The weight of the world still loomed, but Maya had become his anchor. "We'll fight for this," he said, determination sharp in his voice. But just as he leaned in to kiss her, a voice broke through the charged atmosphere. "What's this now?" They both jumped, turning to see Margaret leaning against the door frame, arms crossed, eyebrows arched in disbelief. "Maya?" she said. "What are you doing here?" As the tension shifted dangerously in the air, Ryan felt his heart sink. The confrontation had arrived much sooner than anticipated. How would they navigate this? Would love be enough to overcome the barriers built by expectations? The moment was now. The battle for their love was about to unfold. Maya's heart raced as she faced Margaret, the weight of the moment pressing heavy on her shoulders. Ryan's hand remained in hers, a lifeline amid the storm. She could feel his warmth radiating, but the tension between mother and son was palpable, an electric charge vibrating through the room. Mrs. Thompson, I was just," Maya stammered, but the words tangled up in her throat. She never imagined facing Margaret like this, caught off guard yet desperately wanting to hold her ground. "Just what, Maya?" Margaret's voice was icy, cutting through the air. "What do you think you're doing here, and why were you so close to my son? It doesn't look like you were simply talking." Ryan stepped forward, placing himself between them. "Mom, please. This isn't what it looks like." His voice was steady, but there was an undercurrent of frustration, a hint of a challenge. "I'm not going to hide my feelings for Maya anymore. She's not just a girl to me. She's everything." Margaret's eyebrows shot up. The shock in her eyes was quickly replaced by a look of irritation. "Everything? Really, Ryan? You think I'm just going to accept that? You know what our family stands for, who we are. She doesn't fit into that world. Maya felt her pulse quicken, the walls closing in as the reality of Margaret's disapproval hit hard. This was the moment she had feared. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Thompson, but please, call me Margaret," she interrupted with a wave of her hand, dismissing the pretense. "I'd rather you not pretend for formalities." Ryan turned to Maya, searching her eyes, seeking her strength. He could see the fight in her wavering. With a surge of determination, he responded, "You don't know her, Mom. You've only seen her from your narrow perspective. If you would just take a moment. A moment doesn't change who she is or where she comes from." Margaret's voice was rising, an echo of years of ingrained beliefs. "You've dreamed of a certain future, and it doesn't include this." Maya's hands trembled as she squeezed Ryan's tighter, grounding herself in the chaotic whirlwind of emotions surging within. "Mom, what matters to me is what's here," he said, placing a hand over his heart, expressing the raw honesty of his feelings. "Maya is beautiful, inside and out. I'm tired of pretending I'm someone I'm not. And if you'll let me, I want to show you the truth." "The truth?" Margaret scoffed. "You think love is going to change the world around you? I've worked too hard to build this family legacy just to see it handed over to someone who doesn't fit." Ryan drew in a deep breath, the weight of his own family's expectations crashing down on him, yet he stood unwavering. "What if I told you it's not about fitting into a mold? What if love is the mold? What if it can break through every barrier you've built?" There was a flicker in Margaret's eyes, something not easily defined, a hint of something. Was it doubt? Confusion? Doesn't she deserve a chance? Ryan pressed, heart hammering. "We can't live our lives for you, Mom. It's time you realize that." Maya watched with both trepidation and hope. She saw Ryan fighting for her. Could it be enough? Margaret's expression shifted, the storm inside her seemingly shifting, but then she squared her shoulders. "You have made your choice, Ryan. But don't expect me to roll over. I won't stand by and watch you ruin your life." "Mom," Ryan started, desperation creeping into his words. "Enough." Margaret interjected, her voice sharp and final. She turned on her heel, the door frame suddenly a barrier she was unwilling to cross. "Don't come crying to me when this all falls apart. You were warned." Maya crumpled, barely maintaining her composure, the reality of Margaret's words crashing over her like cold water. Ryan turned to her, anguish etched on his face. "Hey, don't listen to that. We'll get through this together," he murmured, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. But the uncertainty loomed. Could love truly overcome such deep-seated expectations? And now, with the gauntlet thrown down, what would they have to sacrifice for their fight ahead? "Ryan," she whispered, the fear creeping back in, "what if she never accepts me?" The shadows of doubt stirred, and the battle was far from over. The conversation had only begun, the stakes higher than ever, and paths unknown lay ahead. What would the next move be? How could they turn the tide? Would love be their fortress or just an illusion? Ryan paced the room, his thoughts a tumultuous storm. The echoes of his mother's harsh words hung in the air like a fading thunderclap, ripping through the fragile peace he had tried to build with Maya. He glanced over at her, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Each droplet seemed heavy with doubt, and a fresh wave of anger surged inside him, not at her, but at the invisible chains that held them both captive. "Maya," he said softly, reaching for her hands. "I know this seems impossible right now, but you have to believe that I'm not going to give up on us." But her gaze shifted down, avoiding his eyes. "What if she's right, Ryan? What if I'm just not enough?" Every word felt like it chipped away at her shine. "No. You're more than enough. You're everything." He squeezed her hands, trying to infuse some of his belief into her. "Just because my mom can't see it doesn't mean it's not true. I mean, look at you. You light up a room. Maya finally looked up, a flicker of the fire he loved so much returning. It's hard, Ryan. Her voice quivered. I feel like I'm always fighting to be accepted, fighting to belong. And right now, you and I, it feels like an uphill battle. Ryan leaned closer, lowering his voice. But aren't we in this together? It's not just you fighting, it's us. I can't control what my mom thinks, but I can control my own choices. He took a breath, determination fueling him. And I choose you. The heaviness in her heart lightened a fraction. Still, something in Ryan's eyes told her there was more. What do we do if she never comes around? Then we keep pushing forward. We show her what love looks like. The spark in Ryan's voice ignited a warmth inside her. Love is messy, complicated, and beautiful, and you and I were the epitome of that. Maya felt her own resolve grow. Yes, loving Ryan was complicated, but there was beauty in their fight. She'd take his hand and walk through whatever storm lay ahead. Where do we even start? She asked, her voice gaining strength. By making a plan. We need to get her to see you. To see who you really are, the amazing woman I see. Maya chuckled softly, surprised by the confidence in his tone. And you think she'll just come around on her own? Ryan grinned, biting back a laugh. Maybe not on her own, but I have an idea. My mom loves her charity events. She loves spotlight. What if we show up together? Instead of sneaking around, let us confront this head-on. Invite her to meet you in a space where she can't refuse to see how strong and beautiful you are. The thought excited Maya, but it also terrified her. What if it backfires? Ryan leaned in closer, his voice steady. If it does, we'll figure it out together. But hiding isn't an option anymore. I refuse to let fear dictate who we are. Maya nodded, her heart swelling with a mix of fear and hope. The path ahead was uncertain, but for the first time, she felt empowered. They could do this, they had to try.as they made plans, something deep within her began to shift. What if Margaret could see beyond her expectations? What if they could turn the tide together? All right, let us do this, Maya declared, infusing her voice with newfound courage. Ryan flashed that radiant smile that made her heart skip. Together. But beneath their determination lay the question, could love truly dismantle the walls Margaret had built? Or would their fight only deepen the rift? The night loomed ahead, dark and uncertain, and as they made plans for the confrontation, an invisible tension brewed. What would they uncover, and could it change everything? Ryan and Maya spent the next few days meticulously crafting their strategy, each moment edging closer to the charity gala. Maya worked to calm the storm of nerves swirling in her stomach. With every plan they discussed, she felt a mix of excitement and dread. As they prepared, Ryan's unwavering belief in her slowly chipped away at her insecurities. When we show up, I want you to be yourself, Ryan encouraged, brushing his thumb across her knuckles. Just think of it as our first big adventure together. Adventure, she echoed, a small smile creeping onto her face. It feels more like a leap into the unknown. They spent long hours curating her outfit, in search of something that made her feel both confident and beautiful. While trying on dresses, she glanced at herself in the mirror, twisting and turning. Does this one exude magnetic woman, or just please don't notice me? Magnetic, for sure. You'll be a beacon of light, Ryan assured her, his eyes sparkling. Each compliment lit a small flame of hope in her heart. As the gala approached, a mix of emotions mounted. Excitement and anxiety danced in her chest like butterflies escaping a jar. Maya wanted to impress Margaret, but more importantly, she wanted her to see the truth, that she and Ryan were in love, and that the love they shared was real, not a fleeting romance. The night of the event arrived, and the venue dazzled under the glow of crystal chandeliers and the sound of laughter echoing throughout the elegantly decorated hall. As she and Ryan approached the entrance, Maya felt her heart racing. Are you ready for this? she asked, pausing just before stepping inside. Ryan took her hands, grounding her. Ready as I'll ever be. Remember, we're in this together. In a shimmering silver gown that hugged her curves perfectly, Maya stepped into the bustling room, and all eyes inevitably turned toward them. Ignited confidence surged within her, propelling her forward. Even if whispers danced just behind her, they spotted Margaret across the room, mingling amid high society. The recognition in her eyes sent a jolt through Maya. She was so poised and controlled, a sharp contrast to the whirlwind of feelings inside Maya. Ryan led her through the crowd, drawing braver breaths from within her. As they approached, Ryan's mother turned, her face shifting from polite curiosity to sheer disapproval as she locked eyes with her son and Maya. Ryan! What a surprise! Margaret exclaimed, her voice tight with surprised disbelief. Maya and I wanted to introduce ourselves, Mom. Ryan's voice was steady, but Maya could hear the underlying tension in his tone. I'm really happy you're here tonight. Maya is someone very special to me. Margaret raised an eyebrow, the skepticism heavy in the air. Special? My dear, there are. Her words bending with a thinly veiled condescension, better ways to find companionship. Defiance surged through Ryan. Mom, please. This is the woman I love. You need to see that she love. A fleeting feeling, Ryan, Margaret interjected, her voice sharp as glass. Maya instinctively squeezed Ryan's hand, her heart sinking. She could feel the weight of disapproval in the air, each moment stretching painfully long. Yet at that instant, something inside her ignited. Margaret, she said boldly, her voice cutting through the tension, I might not fit the mold you have created, but I am passionate, ambitious, and deeply in love with your son. The room seemed to hold its breath. Ryan glanced at her, surprise lighting his features, a glimmer of pride that made her heart swell. Margaret's face flashed with surprise, then a flicker of something else, something deeper, perhaps curiosity? But before anyone could react, a sudden commotion near the entrance caught their attention. A figure burst through the door, unannounced. Maya turned, curiosity mingled with concern. What could possibly shift the atmosphere of the night? As she squinted into the crowd, a familiar face emerged, someone she hadn't expected to see. The possibilities raced through her mind as tension crackled like static electricity. Would this revelation change everything for them, or pull them deeper into conflict? Hope and fear braided together as the figure took a step closer, and Maya could already sense that tonight was about to take an unexpected turn. The figure approached with an air of confidence, cutting through the crowd like a knife. Maya's heart raced faster, a confusion of recognition and surprise swirling in her mind. As the face came into focus, her breath caught. It was her ex-boyfriend, Derek. They hadn't spoken since their messy breakup, and he had no place in this evening, or so she thought. Oh, so this is where you've been, Derek remarked, a smirk twisting his lips as he met her gaze. His eyes flickered to Ryan, and she could see the judgment there. The smirk faltered for a moment before he regained his composure. Maya felt a rush of heat flood to her cheeks, shame wrapping around her like a heavy cloak. The murmurs echoing in the space around them momentarily dulled as everyone turned to focus on Derek, sensing the drama unfolding. Derek, what are you doing here? She managed to say, her voice firm, though her insides twisted. Just thought I'd stop by and see what the gala was all about. Heard your boyfriend was here, wanted to come say hi. He leaned back casually against the wall, arms crossed, as if this setup was merely entertaining to him. Everything about him felt like a roll of thunder, unnerving but familiar. Not for the benefit of running into me, I hope, Maya replied, her tone edging towards confrontation. Ryan stepped closer, his presence a grounding force. We're in the middle of something important, Derek. Can we skip the games? Oh, but this is all so entertaining, he shot back, his gaze drifting between Maya and Ryan like a hawk eyeing its prey. Maya, just out of curiosity, how long do you think this, whatever you have with Ryan, will last? Maya's heart raced at his dismissal of their relationship. Longer than it lasted with you, she retorted, determination fueling her response, fueled partially by Ryan's reassuring grip on her shoulder. Margaret shifted awkwardly, her face a mixture of surprise at this unexpected visitor and curiosity. The focus was straying from her criticisms of Maya, which momentarily gave her the upper hand in the battle of opinions. Do you really think that this is better for him? Derek's voice sliced through the tension, his words like cold water. Your parents must be thrilled. Ryan stepped forward, his jaw clenched. Maya deserves someone who genuinely appreciates her for who she is. Derek chuckled, disbelieving. And what makes you think you're that person? Maya felt her breath hitch. She wanted to run away from Derek's taunts, the weight of judgment too heavy to bear. But then she remembered Ryan's words, how important it was to be herself. Maya took a deep breath, finding her footing even as her heart raced. She's more than you could ever understand, Derek. You never saw her, and it's a shame you had your chance, Ryan said fiercely. In that moment, the room buzzed with intensity, the cold air wrapped around them like a tight fist. The crowd was on edge, unsure if this drama would lead to an endearing reconciliation or a full-blown confrontation. A flicker of hope bloomed within Maya, believing that with Ryan, she was finally being seen. Before she could respond, Margaret spoke up, her voice surprisingly steady. Perhaps we should all take a moment. But before anyone could think about where that moment would lead, Derek took a step back, eyes narrowing on Ryan. You better hold on tight, buddy. This won't end the way you think. With that, he turned to leave, but not before locking eyes with Maya one last time. You'll see. Maya's heart thudded in her chest, battling between hope and uncertainty as Derek disappeared into the crowd. Could this be the start of something great, or the beginning of a turmoil she couldn't escape? Ryan turned to her, searching her face, his concern palpable. Are you okay? I will be, Maya replied, but her words felt fragile, and as she caught the gaze of Margaret, there was something deeper at play now. What had Derek meant? Was this truly the adventure they had hoped for, or a journey filled with more challenges ahead? Maya's heart raced, a mix of adrenaline and uncertainty mingling in the air. Just when she thought the night would settle, it felt like they were standing on the edge of something dramatic yet again. What else awaited them as they navigated this hostile reunion? Then she felt it, the weight of Margaret's view shifted, curiosity had taken root, but what would it blossom into? The night held too many answers waiting to unfold. The silence that followed Derek's departure was almost deafening. The crowd resumed their conversations, but the air between Maya and Ryan crackled with lingering tension. She could feel the weight of Margaret's gaze, still scrutinizing her, measuring every expression, every moment. Maya turned to Ryan, his brow furrowed. I'm sorry you had to see that, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. He took her hand, the warmth of his grasp a contrast to the chill that Derek had left behind. Don't apologize. You handled it perfectly. I can't believe he showed up here. I thought I was done with him. The words tumbled out, heavy with unresolved feelings. She had spent so much time trying to bury the past, only for it to resurface at a time when she was finally starting to feel happy again. Maybe he's just trying to get a rise out of you, Ryan suggested, his eyes unable to mask the simmering anger. Yeah, well, he got me, Maya said, exhaling sharply. I thought I'd be free of all this drama. Margaret's voice cut in, sharp and disapproving. Maya, darling, you don't want to be involved with someone who brings out the worst in you. Are you sure you want to continue down this path? Maya's heart sank at the realization that her mother likely shared Derek's judgmental views. You don't really know Ryan, she fired back, defensiveness creeping into her tone. He's not like Derek. He's different. He sees me. Does he? Margaret raised an eyebrow. You think the best thing for you is to be with someone who's lighting fires where there were once none? The dismissiveness cut deeply, and Maya felt an overwhelming urge to defend Ryan. He respects me. He appreciates me, something Derek never did. In theory, maybe. But how do you know that in practice? Don't forget, it was only recently that you were fully over him. Why do you think I'm still in love with Derek? She snapped. You don't know the struggles I've faced to break free from that. I want to believe, I need to believe that things could be different with Ryan. Ryan stood back, his expression a mix of pride in Maya and concern for how intense things were becoming. Maya, you deserve happiness. If I can't give that to you, then let us figure out a way to. Don't say it, she interrupted, her emotions spilling over. I won't let him ruin this for us. As she looked into his eyes, the deep understanding they held almost made her cry. But then the insecurities crept back in. What if she was wrong? What if she was setting herself up for another heartbreak? Maya shook her head, trying to clear the fog. Just as she started to gather her thoughts, the crowd erupted in laughter, diverting her attention momentarily. It was a sharp reminder of the gala they were supposed to be enjoying, a night they had both looked forward to, now overshadowed by chaos. Let us not let him win, Ryan said. Maya took a deep breath and squared her shoulders. You're right. Let's not. As they moved away from the cluster of people staring, she sensed Margaret's eyes boring into her back, a storm of conflicting emotions swirling beneath the surface. Are you ready to dance? Ryan asked with a hopeful smile, extending a hand. There was a flicker of uncertainty in her stomach, but she nodded. Yeah, I think I am. As they stepped onto the dance floor, Maya surrendered to the rhythm, letting her worries take a back seat for a moment. Yet, that last look Derek had given her loomed large in her mind. Everyone around them twirled and cheers erupted from deep within the crowd, but Maya couldn't shake off the feeling that the night was far from over. What if he comes back? She whispered to Ryan, fear creeping back in. Then we'll face whatever happens together, Ryan replied, drawing her closer. Just as she felt ready to embrace the moment, an unexpected figure caught her eye at the edge of the crowd. Derek was back, leaning against a pillar, watching them. Maya's heart plunged. Why was he here? What was he planning now? Here we go again, she muttered under her breath, her mind racing with questions and fear as Derek's gaze locked onto hers. What could be waiting just around the corner? Maya's breath caught in her throat as she locked eyes with Derek. He stood there, a shadow among the colorful lights, an unwanted reminder of everything she was trying to escape. Each heartbeat felt like a drum in her ears, driving her panic higher. Stay close, Ryan murmured, shifting slightly so he could shield her from Derek's piercing gaze. The warmth of his presence was a comfort, but the fear of confrontation seeped back in. Why is he doing this? She whispered, her voice trembling. The crowd around them faded into a blur, laughter and music replaced by the dull thumps of dread echoing in her mind. Maybe he wants to provoke you. Ryan's expression tightened. Just ignore him. Maya wanted to follow his advice, wanted to shake off the feelings that clung to her like an unwelcome coat. But she felt exposed. Every laugh around her seemed to echo Derek's malicious intentions. Why now? She thought, scanning the crowd for support, searching for a familiar face that wouldn't judge. Her mother was still somewhere behind them, likely relishing the drama. Ryan spun her around slightly, trying to redirect her focus. Look at me, he said, his voice firm yet gentle. We're here together, and I'm not going anywhere. The energy from the dance floor surged, a wave of smiles and twirls, but Maya felt like she was standing still. Just then, Derek pushed himself away from the pillar and began walking toward them. The crowd parted around him, not like he was a king, but rather a storm breaking into a sunny day. Great. Just great, Maya thought, dread knotting tighter in her stomach. Let us just keep dancing, Ryan suggested, moving her closer to the center of the floor. But she didn't move. Her feet felt planted as Derek approached, his eyes locked onto hers filled with something dark and penetrating. "Maya," he drawled, his voice smooth but laced with an underlying tension, "did you really think I would just disappear?" The music faded into a low hum around her, and despite her better judgment, she felt the urge to confront him. "What do you want, Derek?" He smirked, his confidence infuriating her. "I want to understand why you think Ryan can give you what I couldn't. I know you, Maya. I know all your weaknesses." Ryan stepped between them instinctively, anger flaring. "You should leave her alone." "Ah, the knight in shining armor," Derek scoffed, eyes drifting to Ryan, then back to Maya. "But this isn't just about you two, is it?" Maya fought to compose herself, her mind swirling with thoughts. Did this night matter more than her past? Did Ryan really understand the battles she faced with Derek? "I'm not afraid of you anymore," she declared, surprising even herself with the steadiness in her voice. Derek's smirk faded. "Is that so? Because it sure looks like you're still tangled up in old habits. You know I have the power to make your life miserable." Ryan's grip on her hand tightened painfully. "Leave her alone, Derek." She's moved on. But his words fell into the chaos of her swirling thoughts. Had she? As the lights flashed, highlighting Derek's self-satisfied expression, all of Maya's insecurities roared back to life. She had fought so hard to break free, but was it ever truly over? Suddenly, an announcement echoed over the speakers, a call for the night's grand prize raffles. The crowd's attention shifted, a momentary distraction as cheers erupted around them. But at that moment, the air thickened with possibility. An unexpected flicker of determination ignited within her as she faced Derek once again. What if he's right? A voice whispered in her mind. "Stay," Ryan said softly but firmly, grounding her. "You deserve this moment." And then, with a surge of courage, Maya took a bold step toward Derek. "You don't hold power over me anymore." Derek's expression darkened, and the crowd fell into a hush, curiosity hanging heavy in the air. Maya could feel her heart racing, the stakes rising. What happens next? She thought, a challenging question lingering as she faced him head-on. Would she finally break free, or would this moment seal her fate in Derek's grasp once again? As the electric tension filled the room, Maya stood resolute, her gaze piercing into Derek's mocking eyes. A familiar sense of empowerment began to envelop her, the energy of the crowd pulsing, urging her forward. "I've let you define my worth for too long," she asserted, her voice steady. "I am not the girl you once knew. I am stronger, and I know what I deserve." Each word rang out, a drumbeat building a rhythm of bravery. She could feel Ryan by her side, a pillar of support, his presence igniting her courage. Derek narrowed his eyes, the playful smirk fading into something darker, more vindictive. "Really? And what is it that you think you deserve? A fairy tale with Mr. Perfect here?" His sneer cut deep, but she could feel herself standing taller, her heart racing not with fear, but with newfound pride. "Yes," she replied boldly. "I deserve someone who sees me for who I am, not who he wants me to be. Ryan sees the real me, and he loves me." The murmurs in the crowd grew louder, eyes narrowing, energy shifting. Their reactions swirled around her, a mixture of support, disbelief, and intrigue. Derek scoffed, crossing his arms smugly. "You think he's the answer? You think he's any different from all the others?" But before he could continue, Ryan stepped forward, taking Maya's hand firmly in his. "This isn't about me, Derek. This is about Maya reclaiming her power. You can't take that away from her anymore." His tone was fierce, undeterred by Derek's arrogance. Maya's heart soared at Ryan's defense. His words washed over her like a warm wave, fueling her spirit. She squeezed his hand, reinforcing their connection, feeling the trust wrapping around them like a warm embrace. "See?" she said, her voice higher, stronger. You pushed me and pushed me, but it only made me fight harder to be myself. Ryan and I, we are real. True love isn't defined by your standards. That's quite the declaration. Derek laughed, the sound dark and cynical. But love doesn't change the past, Maya. You and I had something that you can't just brush away. She felt a flash of anger ignite within her. What we had was toxic. It held me back, but I've moved on. I'm not afraid of you anymore. The words spilled out like sunlight breaking through oppressive clouds. The crowd stood watching, breath bated, caught in the whirlwind of this confrontation. Just then, Margaret's voice cut through the haze. That's right, Maya. Show him your strength. Maya turned, surprised to see her mother effectively rallying behind her. The moment shifted. Was this a sign of approval? Derek blinked, the confidence crumbling slightly in his facade. And what's that supposed to mean? You think being with Ryan will make you happy? Just wait until you get hurt again. His voice was a venomous cauldron, but Maya was unfazed. No, she said firmly, her heart pounding. I will not accept your threats any longer. I know who I am. But what if this doesn't work out? What if you end up alone? He pressed, desperation leaking into his words. Then I will move forward as I always have. Because if love is real, it doesn't just vanish, she said, her voice shaking the lingering doubts. With Ryan, I feel safe. I feel valued. And I refuse to let your shadow haunt me any longer. A collective gasp moved through the crowd as Maya took a step back, her heart racing with every word as she spoke. The stakes felt higher than ever, but she held firm, fueled by love and loyalty. At that moment, Ryan lifted her chin, bringing her focus back to him. No matter what happens next, I will always be here for you, he reassured, his voice wrapped in warmth. He took a brave step toward Derek, standing tall. And trust me, if you ever think of coming back to hurt Maya, you'll have to go through me first. Be careful, Derek muttered, slowly backing away, eyes betraying his uncertainty. You think you know her? You haven't the faintest idea what you're getting into. Try me, Ryan shot back, defiance laced with strength. Maya is ready to embrace her future. Can you say the same about yourself? The room echoed with renewed murmurs, and Derek's hold on the narrative slipped away, little tangled threads of his influence dissipating like smoke. Maya's heart swelled watching Derek slink into the crowd, his confidence crushed. The noise of the gala erupted once again, laughter igniting around them, a celebration of resilience and fortitude. All at once, she felt lighter, liberated from the weight of the past. Now, Ryan said, a smile breaking across his face as he took a breath, how about we celebrate? Maya grinned back, a lightness surging through her. The hope she had longed for had blossomed in her heart, igniting like fireworks in a summer sky. They stepped onto the dance floor, embraced against the rhythm of their earlier chaos, hearts dancing to the beats of a new beginning. By embracing their love, they had turned a pivotal moment into their strength. The crowd moved around them, celebrating love in all its imperfect, beautiful forms. And as Maya swayed in Ryan's embrace, the reality settled, love had won at that moment. It was magical, powerful, and undeniably real. The road ahead would twist with challenges, but side by side, they would forge a path into the light of a blossoming future. Together they had dismantled the barriers, and that felt exhilarating. Maya allowed herself to dream of tomorrow. We can do this, she whispered. Yes, Ryan replied, pulling her closer, together. With that, the night swept forward, filled with laughter, dancing, and renewed hope. The world beyond them faded into stars above, and they held on tight, two souls intertwined, ready to step into their bright new reality side by side. Now, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to catch the next exclusive stories that inspire and transform. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help make sure these stories keep coming. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. How did it impact you? And finally, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.